Welcome to the New Flat Rate Podcast,
The New Flat Rate!
a podcast for contractors who need help increasing their service tickets, creating working processes, and building freedom in their lives. Today's episode is all about OPTIMUS and the product they provide. And now, your host, Danielle Putnam.
Hi, my name is Danielle Putnam. I'm the president of the New Flat Rate, and welcome today. I'm really excited to be having a great conversation with a friend of mine, Matthew Bratsis from OPTIMUS Financing. Matthew, welcome.
Thank you, Danielle. I'm really excited to be here. Really excited about your podcast and to match wits with you so we can hopefully educate some people and have a little bit of fun. So looking forward to this.
Yeah, well, I am too. I really appreciate you taking the time. You know, the New Flat Rate and OPTIMUS have been talking to each other for maybe a year now. We've been getting to know each other and becoming better friends and really see so many synergies in what we're trying to do for the service industry. And so I'm excited to share. It's not even a secret anymore. I feel like so many people know about OPTIMUS, but I'm excited to share OPTIMUS with the world. To anybody who maybe doesn't know.
No, I appreciate that. And we have been looking forward to working with the New Flat Rate for, to your point, it's been at least a year. So we're excited about kind of launching this, kicking this off and really getting this out to all these contractors. And it's a great solution, especially when paired with the New Flat Rate. OPTIMUS and New Flat Rate are going to go together in such a nice, systematic way that's going to be simple and really deliver great results. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it is. And I know we are going to deep dive into product, all about it in just a second. Before we do, I'd like to know, and I'd like our audience to hear a little bit more about you and how you got your start in the industry, really. If there was a start in the industry, in the home services.
You really want to bore people with my background? We can.
Well, I mean, you know, you can start when you learn to ride a bike.
I'm right.
Then what happened?
Correct. So I originally started basically in the finance portion of the industry with American General Finance. For those remember the old school, literally underwriting personal loans for people who have emergencies, right? And it was anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, maybe $10,000 on a personal loan. And I did and controlled all the underwriting, and then I also had to collect it. So one of the valuable things you learned in the finance industry was when you're underwriting and then you actually have to go knock on doors and call people and do the things that you have to do to get the money back, you really learn what makes people tick and how the underwriting and what consumers were liking. So that's kind of the base of where I started. I have gradually morphed into the home improvement finance. I was with Green Sky for a period of time when they first initially started up. I moved to California for the HERO program, or Renovate America, which seemed like a groundbreaking idea at the time, but unfortunately, like all groundbreaking ideas, there's always going to be some people that aren't going to treat it well, and it didn't make it. And eventually I've morphed over to EGIA. And just to give a little bit of background, and please jump in and stop me if I start rambling, by the way. But
no, you're doing great.
Just to give a little bit of background, EGIA is a nonprofit, been around since 1931. We originally started working with teaching people the wonders of the electric oven, literally the original electrification of America. That is where EGIA took place. And we're one of the biggest processors of energy efficient rebates throughout the United States. About 15 years ago, we morphed into I call us the Costco of finance. We originally we had multiple finance programs and dealers can come, and we were leveraging our 20,000 contractors we're leveraging that network into better pricing. I saw the light in particular and started driving us into the OPTIMUS solution. But the thing I like about working for EGIA is it really is about delivering the best content and not really selling anything to contractors. I mean, I'm a nonprofit. We virtually make no profit. We're not a bank. And we really want to kind of differentiate ourselves as not being the bank. So we really are about education and teaching contractors the good, better, best, or maybe it's the good, bad, and ugly, I don't know how you want to phrase it, of finance, so that they actually learn to utilize this, because it's not, that's not the bad F word, but yet contractors seem to think it's the bad F word. And what we're trying to teach them is there's probably no bad F words, but that is certainly not a bad F word.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And I'm really glad that you brought up EGIA too, so that everybody can kind of learn a little bit more, because you don't usually think nonprofit with finance. So
No, you don't. And that's one of the real differentiators that I think when you look at our partnership with TNFR, I think one of the things you're really going to see is that because we are a nonprofit, we have the lowest pricing and some of the best products in the entire industry. And I think people just associate us naturally with, well, it's just another bank. But when you really look at what we've leveraged people into, there's benefits for working with somebody who's just not trying to sell you something, but trying to set you up with a program that's going to be in your best interest.
There sure is. And boy, that's a great segue. Let's just dive right in then to what is Optimus and what do you guys offer for contractors?
So it's interesting. Just to give you a little bit of I love to tell the Optimus story, probably because like you, I have birthed. This is the only thing that I have birthed. And the thing I have birthed is Optimus. Is my baby. When I got in EGIA and kind of took over, I took a look at our numbers, and we were doing about $1 billion a year in financing, which is it's a pretty solid amount for a nonprofit.
Completely.
But 95% of it was with prime lenders, meaning down to like a 680 FICO score. Those A and B plus customers were able to get approved, but the entire industry was basically ignoring that second and third look. So as we started exploring, and of course, with our knowledge, we were learning that contractors, they barely like one process, much less a second or third. And I know the new flat rate understands this. The simpler you can make these processes, the better. So we started sitting there thinking, how can we improve the overall experience for the contractor and the consumer ultimately, and give them the best experience? What is it that we have to design? And what we thought about is, it's got to be one simple process. It's got to be one application, and it's got to direct the customer to the right lender or the right situation, so that the contractor or the dealer doesn't have to overcome it. No, that's one of their biggest fears, right? Is nobody wants to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it might be, in the kitchen table with a consumer and sell and get them finally on the inverter series with the IAQ and all this other stuff, to find out the customer doesn't qualify. And then they have to like backtrack and start like rearranging what they do. Nobody wants to experience. And that's one of the biggest fears. So what we think is, how do we eliminate that? And that's how Optimus was birthed. It was literally, all right, let's come up with a process where we do a soft credit pull. So the customer comes in, it doesn't hit their credit. And then we can tell you before you've even started selling the customer, whether it's a prime customer, whether it's a secondary customer, whether it's a third customer. So you know before you go, and you already have an approval that doesn't hit the customer's credit. And it really, those contractors are using it, or it's changing the way they're presenting it, because it simplifies the process and really does eliminate the no. You don't have to worry about them going to the prime lender, having the prime lender say no, and then saying, well, I've got another one we can try. You don't have to do that.
Right. Yeah, and I love how it was birthed at the kitchen table, right? Very organic for our industry of solving a problem in the home, right? Because that's what our people, that's what we do as service providers, is we're there to fix a problem and to help. And so then Optimus was birthed out of that too. Let's help and figure this out. And so as Matthew was saying, what I love is it's that one soft pull that sources everybody at one time. So you don't have to go out and apply all over the place with each customer, but instead you find out right away, and then you can go and present your options. In the case of the new flat rate, it's, here's a menu page that they qualify for. So let's present these options to them.
Right. And one of the biggest misconceptions right now outside in the lending world with individual banks is you're going to hear all the time, oh, we have a waterfall. We have a waterfall. I really hate the term waterfalls, because I literally have this little campaign. You might see some videos around out in the internet about me saying, don't go chasing waterfalls. Unfortunately, there is probably some that have me singing too, which you definitely don't want to see unless you just want, unless you want bad karaoke.
Waterfall.
There you go, Danielle. I'll do the dance if you do the song.
Yeah. I remember. What are waterfalls? Financing?
The waterfall from a lending standpoint is, you send it to the prime bank, right? And the banks will set this up themselves so that they can take a look at everything. So everything goes to the prime lender. And then when it gets turned down, it rolls to a second source or it rolls to something else, right? The challenge here is it's great to have that second or third look behind those, but the waterfall only turns on when you get a no. And the very idea is to avoid that no, avoid having to overcome that objection of, well, you didn't qualify, but we can try for a second, or we can try for a different product. What we've decided is to completely bypass that waterfall because it doesn't make sense. So when we take a look at your credit, there's no reason to send a 600 or a low 600 score up to a prime lender just so they can turn around and say, sorry, we can't get qualified. Do you want to go? We'll waterfall it down to another one. With Optimus, what we're doing is we're taking a look at that 600 credit score and we're saying, you know what? It shouldn't go up to the prime. They're not going to qualify, but here's a program that it'll go right away and you'll know exactly what to sell and you won't have to. So don't go chasing waterfalls. It really is one of the more selfish things that the prime lenders have set up. And again, I get the fact that they're trying to bring additional services, but still it doesn't have the contractor's experience and the contractor's concerns in mind when it's been designed.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Thanks for educating us and sharing that. How easy is it for a contractor to get started using Optimus?
So our process is pretty simple. One of the advantages that EGI has is, as a nonprofit, we're dedicated towards the education and building up contractors. So we have a program that takes indemnification, which when you say that to most contractors, you just roll their eyes like, what does that mean? But one of the biggest advantages are we take all the risk for the banks and the lenders as part of our nonprofit. It's part of our value prop, which means we can get contractors on Optimus regardless of how long they've been in business or regardless of how big their sales are. This is really important because if you go directly to Green Sky or Wells Fargo or any of the prime lenders, Interbanks, you have a minimum of 2 years in time in business and a minimum annual sales revenue of $2 million. With EGIA and Optimus, we control the underwriting. So I will tell you, Danielle, the felonious behavior, if you're operating a crack house, if you're building a meth lab, that's probably going to make you exempt. But virtually outside of those, as it should. But outside of those kind of exceptions, we have the ability to put contractors. I mean, literally a couple months ago, I wrote a contractor that had been in business for less than 90 days. But in looking at his background and looking at what he's done and where he had come from, it was well worth the risk. But now he had access to our prime lender on Optimus is the Green Sky. He had access to a program that he would never get access to on his own.
Wow.
And that's really one of the huge benefits of Optimus. So going back to your question, you fill out one simple application with EGIA and Optimus. You don't have to fill out multiple applications for our multiple lenders. We have everybody on one side. So you apply to us. We can get you underwritten in about 4 to 5 working days. And we can hand you the keys within a week to be able to actually start going through the process. There are no documents. There are no, we don't need to see financials. We do not need to see your licensing. We can check everything online that we need to check for your background. You literally just need to fill out the single application. And literally, I guess the only thing you do need to attach is a blank check so that we can actually set it up so that you can get paid. And I think most contractors probably don't have a problem with that. I'd like to
pay me here.
Exactly.
Yeah, pay me here.
Pay me here.
Perfect. Oh, that's really neat. Okay. So to clarify and to make sure I heard you right, you recently took a look at a contractor that had been in business for 90 days and saw his background and saw, yes, this is going to be somebody that we would love to work with. And so you were able to accept him, and he wouldn't have been able to get that anywhere else.
100%. And that's happened multiple times, but that was just the most recently. Yes.
Right.
There is, we will overlook. I know I don't want to, the last thing I want to do is start driving the wrong message, but we understand that not all past behavior needs to be held against you moving forward. So we do have the ability to overlook some transgressions that maybe some of the banks don't want to overlook, because we do understand that that's just part of life. Right. The big thing we do is obviously other than avoiding the truly horrible felonious behavior, money crimes are an issue. But beyond that, if you have if there's some other behavior out there or there's some other things, we try to look at the big picture. Again, if you think about how we started this podcast, I started underwriting in this industry 25, 30 years ago. So I understand human behavior and we understand what the right risk is. So it's amazing how many contractors, we have about a 98% approval rate.
Wow.
Of contractors that apply to us. It's pretty rare that we have to turn somebody down.
I love it. A question that I have, and I don't want to sidestep too far to the left. I want to make sure that we don't lose our track here, but do you mind sharing with us, what are you seeing on the horizon right now when it comes to the contracting industry? What are you seeing with sizes? Are you seeing, because somebody said to me this week, they said, well, Danielle, we're having more 1 to 2 man trucks than ever before.
Yep.
That is the future. So are you seeing that too? Like,
so
are the techs really spinning off and starting their own, and then we're like the future of small business?
Yeah, it seems like, and this is probably something that'll get blasted on, and I'll probably get I can see the memes going out now and it's all over the place. But what we're really seeing is it's kind of becoming reflective of the entire United States. So what we're seeing is a lot of those medium to large size contractors are being gobbled up by PE companies, right? By these private equities, and becoming larger parts of these larger organizations. And then there's a ton of small 1 and 2 man trucks, mom and pop shops. And it's kind of like the middle class in the HVAC industry is kind of starting to disappear. Right? You're not seeing as many of those medium-sized contractors as we've seen in the past, because the moment they start getting big enough, they're being gobbled up by, Turnpoint or the Wrench Group or whatever, any of these PE groups that are out there that are acquiring things. And again, I understand why they're acquiring, but they're not acquiring the small to medium-sized guys or the smaller medium guys. And what we're finding is there's a lot of meat on the bones to help that educational process and get those guys up and running so that they can compete.
Right. How much does it cost to like, for example, if I was going to be an approved contractor with Optimus, what kind of fees would I be looking at?
So it's $1 million up front. And
Perfect.
No, it is no. Believe me, I wouldn't be a
nonprofit.
That would really push my nonprofit status. No, again, we're a nonprofit. There's no cost to participate within Optimus. It is a benefit that we bring to contractors, and that the new flat rate is going to be bringing to their contractor base, that there's not a cost to add this onto your program. But the big thing, and eventually I'm sure we're going to get into this, without partnering it up with the new flat rate, it's really hard to work financing on its own. And I think that's one of the challenges that we have, is we can teach people the values of financing. We can get the best pricing possible. But if you don't have a delivery system, if you don't have a methodology with which to give the customer options and allow that to pair with your finance, it just falls flat. And that's one of our biggest struggles with contractors, is they know they need finance, so they'll sign up for a finance program, but probably 40% don't even use it because they don't have a delivery system or a sales process to be able to bring finance. And finance is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. Isn't that true? Unbelievable. 40% don't use it. And, we're all guilty of that. We know we have a pain and we want to fix our pain. So we sign up for the fix and we get the prescription, and then we don't take it, right? We don't apply it. We're all guilty. But what Matthew is saying here, this is so simple. You can do this one application process, get signed up, and then start offering. Now, what I do want to make sure everybody knows, I'm really excited about this, that we're partnering together, the new flat rate and Optimus, so that when you're going out and you're using the new flat rate, you're presenting your menu options, you can ask the customer, and you might do it before, so it depends on how it's going to work in your process, right? Would you like to go ahead and finance that? And so then you'll already be signed up with Optimus and the new flat rate, and you'll go ahead and you'll offer your financing there. The customer there in the home will sign up right then and there, and then they can choose from the menu what works, and then you get paid. Like Matthew said, you gave your blank check, so then the money goes directly to you right away. How quickly do they get paid?
24 hours, within 24 hours of completion. On most of the products we offer inside Optimus, there's no paperwork, so you don't even have to have, theoretically, the customer do a DocuSign, but the customer can complete the the entire project on their device. So you literally started on your device. The text message goes over to the consumer. They just have to text to respond. Is this job completed? Text yes or text no. Hopefully your job is completed before you're asking for money. Hopefully, right? You text yes, boom, you get paid within 24 hours.
Well, the new flat rate asks for money up front. So we actually get paid before we do the job.
Right. Well, there
Crazy.
you go. No, and we can, right. And we can,
But-
and actually, we can
But in
actually
this scenario,
develop
we
that program.
about it.
Yeah, we can actually develop that program with you so that they can qualify for it and potentially get their money up front. So, I mean, we definitely have the ability to pivot and build something with you. I'm open to that. And I think that's a great solution. Again, the idea here is to make life easier for contractors and get them less afraid of using a sales process and a financing. Because I got to tell you, Danielle, this is 2022 with these SEER changes that are going on, with these regulatory changes, with all the price increases that the manufacturers are had, I don't know if you noticed, but the Fed went up another 75 points yesterday. The rates and like inflation is skyrocketing. If you're a contractor in 2022 and moving forward in 2023, and you're not offering something like the new flat rate partnered with Optimus, you might not be long for being in business, to be honest with you. That's just the reality. Not to scare everybody. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be on a sour note, but the reality is it's become even more important to get these things in place.
Welcome to Storytime with TNFR. Today's story is about a contractor who found success with ride-alongs. Check it out.
Really getting the ride-alongs is really what helped us the most, is that knowing that it's going to cost me to have that done, but in the same sense, it's paid itself off huge, return on investment, because it's something I just don't have the time to do is the ride-along. So when I do a ride-along, the customers know me from being in business for 30 plus years, so they want to talk to me instead of dealing with the technician and things like that. So it gets a fresh face in there, and it's not like they're beating the people up, but they force them to rehearse before they go into the house and do the things that we're supposed to be doing or they're supposed to be doing, and we can get a better return on our calls.
Something I love, I would love for everybody to know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from our past conversations and everything that I understand, this is not just for equipment. So this works great for equipment, but if it's a service repair that might be let's say it's a $1,200 service repair on a plumbing job or electrical or HVAC service repair call, and the customer wants to finance it, they can finance it through Optimus. Is that correct?
So you're always going to get a minimum approval of $1,500, right?
Okay.
You're always going to get a minimum approval, but you literally can process a transaction and finance as small as $250, right?
Okay.
So yes, one of the things we are seeing pretty consistently is not just the replacement, but we're seeing a good amount of people that are choosing to put a $1,000 or $1,200 repair on a 12-month no, right? So 12 months with no payments, no cash. And it's costing about the same as a credit card's costing. And that's giving the consumer the ability to fix something without having to come out with out of pocket. So absolutely. One of the bigger things we can do is that.
Yeah. And I think that's so valuable, especially for those listening today, for us service providers, because we love the equipment replacement opportunities, but there are so many, especially right now, service options where people don't always have the cash flow to fix it. And that way you're not sent packing, you're able to offer something and they can pay for it. And so I love that because it used to not be that way. You used to have to tangibly have a piece of equipment, right? To finance that they could go and get, right? If the customer didn't pay, then they could go get the piece of equipment.
Correct. They wanted to file a UCC1 and file some kind of lien. And and again, it's not just us. The industry has changed a little bit, but it is, we definitely are kind of pushing in that direction for our contractors to make sure that they can do repairs. And that is definitely one of the things we're seeing an uptick in. And again, I don't care how much you finance. I just care that you finance because customers are looking, but the consumer behavior has changed fairly significantly. And consumers right now want the convenience of not having to stroke a check or not having to come out with out of pocket, even to your point, even on a repair. And we know that repairs are not cheap anymore, the way product and the product challenges have gone on. So to be able to do that at $250 or $1,000 or $1,250, again, partnering with TNFR, it's definitely a solution that makes it much more broad than just a replacement solution.
Yeah. Buying habits is kind of fascinating for me right now because coming out of COVID, everybody was home. Well, not everybody, but so many people were home more than
like
often, right? Right.
There's
so
no
many
question.
people were home more than often and spending more money in the home and things like that. And I was recently asked the question of what are consumer buying habits today versus, what they used to be. And all of our data is showing that they really have not changed their buying habits. So for example, with our menu, right? We've got all the data that when customers are given options, they're going to buy more. But 80% of the time before COVID and even after COVID now forever, it hasn't changed. 80% of the time they buy more than just the small quick fix. They upsell themselves 80% of the time. And that buying habit has not changed. Now, to your point then, with offering the financing, if the buying habits are not changing, but inflation's happening and we might have less cash flow for some people, right? Because things are more expensive. We now need more options than we had before, which is why financing is so important and crucial right now. Do you know what I mean? Because they're still going to spend the money, but they don't have to spend sometimes. Not everybody, but some don't, right?
No, and to your point, Danielle, like I have seen a couple studies as we've continued to build and evolve Optimus. I've seen a bunch of studies that show, I mean, for lack of a better way of saying this, if you remove the contractor from the equation, like literally, because sometimes the contractors are their own worst enemies. If you remove the contractor from the equation and you just let a consumer pick, give them the options and let them pick, like 8 times out of 10, they're going to pick the most energy efficient, the bundled solution that has whole home comfort in it. And I do think one of the things there that we have seen kind of transition is customers are no longer looking for just, hey, my AC is out, I need to repair, or I need a new system. They're, especially now that they're working from home, and let's face it, that's picked up significantly. They're looking for total home comfort more than they've ever looked at for, right? So now they're looking for, that's great, I need to get a new air conditioner, or I need to get a new heat pump, or whatever it is. But, I've got some kids with allergies. I've got, I live in San Diego. It's always like 7% humidity here. It's dry as anything. I need a humidification system. There are sections, people in Florida, that need dehumidification. But people are looking at their total home comfort more, which is taking their tickets up to way more than they would have cash to stroke that check, right?
That's right.
So, and then the other thing that I want to point out that is happening is we're now up to about 50% of our applications are coming direct from consumers, from contractors' websites, or from the link being delivered to a consumer. So what we are seeing is more of it happening kind of digitally, getting pre-qualified and getting advanced qualification before they actually go doing it at the kitchen table. And I think that's a trend we might see continue. I think people are more like, with as busy as people are, I think they like the freedom of going online and knowing they can get qualified and knowing kind of before they actually start getting out there and having to do the presentation. So that's definitely one of the things that we're starting to see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch how that increases. I could see that of, hey, if I'm going to invest the time and have somebody come out and give me a quote, I want to make sure that I can afford it or finance it or whatever.
Right. So, I mean, those are the two trends. But to your point, delivering those consumer options and needing more options.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine being in sales without it, to be honest with you these days.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Yeah, I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited to be able to offer you, Optimus and the new flat rate working together, because it's just going to provide much more for the scenarios that you need. So very excited about that.
Yes.
Matthew, what else do we need to tell them? I mean,
no, I mean, listen, I appreciate the opportunity to be talking about this with you, because I do think our partnership's really important. And, we're out there so much trying to teach finance and trying to teach, like, yeah, we have the lowest rates. Yeah, we have we have a second look. We have our second look that has zero dealer fee. We've negotiated and leveraged the lender that literally has no cost second look. And most of the second looks in the entire industry are about 15-20%. One of the reasons contractors historically have not used that second look process is because, they'll write in 5% on their job thinking this is what the cost of the dealer fee for whatever special promotion they're running, whether it's 12 months no or maybe a 699 10-year reduced rate so that they can make it attractive. And then when that customer doesn't qualify, they've had to shift to that second lender. And most of those second lending programs have anywhere from a 12 to 20% dealer fee. And it's really hard for a contractor to all of a sudden start like, well, I've already pitched them on this product, and now all of a sudden I've got to had a 10% or a 15% hit here. How do I adjust my pricing? And it just creates confusion. With Optimus, we are so aware of what the contractors have to do, and it's always built not with a manufacturer in mind, but with a contractor in mind. Our dealer fees are 0% on a second. So if you have to position and transition it to somebody who doesn't qualify for that prime loan, maybe you have to fall off of the 12-month no, but you're still giving them a 10-year solution, and your dealer fees aren't changing, so you don't have to reprice your job. So there are a lot of benefits. I mean, Danielle, I'm very passionate about Optimus, so I apologize if I'm just going a little bit too far, but I do want to, it's my baby, but I do want you to know that the new flat rate's bringing this to your dealers as a benefit of working with the new flat rate. And you've got something that is really kind of exclusive in the industry. We're the only ones who have a 0% second look dealer fee all the way down to $585. That's huge. I mean, we have contractors that are increasing their sales just 15, 20% solely by embracing that second look. And it's not costing them any additional money. As a matter of fact, it's in some ways saving them, right? Because even if it's a credit card, they'd have to pay 3%. But with us, it's got zero dealer fee. So I do think that that's one of the benefits you want to call out with the new flat rate and Optimus together.
Yeah, it's so cool. If anybody's totally ready, and I know that you are, to sign up, you can come directly to the new flat rate and we can help get you connected. Or if you're going to go directly to Optimus, please do tell them that you heard about them on this call today. That way you can get all the benefits of Optimus and TNFR together. We want to make sure that you don't miss out on that. So be sure that either way, mention it if you go through them. Otherwise, we can sign you up here too, and we'll be happy to. Hey, and Matthew, what's going on in October? Are you traveling to Atlanta?
There is a high possibility that I am traveling to Atlanta. I've heard a rumor that I might be traveling to Atlanta in October to join a premier group of people so that we can kind of help educate them on how to turn how do I say this the right way? Finance is not a cost. It is it's a profit, and how to turn that profit so that your techs and some of your salespeople can actually make more money, be happier, and you can get just a better ecosystem within the contractor university. So we really want to be educating people on how finance can help you pay your people a little bit more. And again, it's not a cost. It is a profit. And I'm really looking forward to being somewhere in the Atlanta region in October to join TNFR and literally kind of roll this out and let people see live demos and let you play around with it a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. Matthew's leading a session at our Business Uncensored conference, October 3rd through 5th in Atlanta at the Omni. It's called Business Uncensored. I'm pretty sure, correct me and edit this if I'm wrong, it's 2022bu.com. And in his session, like you mentioned, he's going to be educating on financing, talking about Optimus and pay scales as well, how you can help pay your people more. So that's going to be a really great session. And we're really excited to show everybody the power of these two platforms together at that event.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it, especially since you promised me the King Suite at the Omni with, I think there was a limousine and room service of lobster or something.
You got it.
I'm a nonprofit. I'm a nonprofit. That is not what I'm about. I promise you. I just want to be amongst some really good contractors. And again, we're really not in it for the money. So while I'm there, if you just want to talk about your finance, whatever program you're using, we're glad to educate you, because we believe that bringing finance, especially in conjunction with TNFR, is going to lead to success. We think we have the best solution to help you. But even if you're not using our solution, we're completely open to educate you about all the different programs and the different sales processes you can use with the new flat rate so you can improve your business. That's kind of my mantra.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And I know people will take you up on that too. So thank you for offering it. Yeah, I know they will, which will be great. Hey, before we close down today, this has been very helpful, very educational about Optimus and the new flat rate together, working together. and everything about the financing that you shared with us. So I'm so excited that we could have this conversation for everybody. Is there anything that you'd like to leave us with? Maybe even, just what is working in life? Because I know here you're doing financing, you've got this great product, but you're also running a team. You're growing your business. You're a business owner too, right? And so
Yeah.
you're really in the thick of it like the rest of us. And there's different struggles that we're all facing right now. So what is helpful for you right now? Are you time blocking, going on vacations, reading books? Let's talk about business life for just a second, because it's so real right now.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I was just saying it is July and August, and I know it's the busy season for contractors, but it tends to be for those affiliate programs or those kind of programs that like us, like the new flat rate, we've set people
Business
up
services.
with Optimus, this business services, and there doesn't seem to be any downtime. It's picking back up. As a matter of fact, just to let you know, we are doing, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, we're doing a 100-city tour around the United States. I've got 50 more cities to go. I've done the first 50. It was exhausting. The next set starts in Bloomington, Minnesota in mid-August. I'm also going to be in Montana, which for those of you that might be listening to this in Montana, I hear it's a booming market in Billings. And we're going to be traveling really around, literally to have, like, we call it a road show, and we literally are getting 20 contractors at a time in a room and just talking to them about how they have to prepare for 2023. We're talking to them about what the new consumer behavior is. And we're just talking to them about how to be successful with finance and stop thinking about those $5,000 tickets that you can get somebody to stroke a check for. They're gone. What we're finding is there's not going to be any more $4,000 or $5,000 tickets. I mean, beyond repair, when it comes to replacement, they're going to be 10, and people don't have the cash. So being able to offer them and make it a more profitable. I was working with John Ellis. We just did a webinar. We have my Matt's Chats webinar, which Danielle was good enough to join us with, which was, I still get a lot of great feedback on the Matt's Chats that we have. We've posted a couple shots of you and I on LinkedIn doing little blurbs, and I get some really good feedback on that. I don't know if you know that.
I know, and I haven't seen them all, so I'm gonna have to go look. Yay.
You're gonna have to go look. And then we just had John Ellis, which obviously is associated with the new flat rate as well, who just did one, as a matter of fact, on Tuesday of this week. And it was a really solid, we got a lot of really good feedback, a lot of contractors with questions. So I'm really excited on how we're working together. But from a business standpoint, I don't know. How do you catch your breath? I mean, I try to read where I can, but a lot of times it's on airplanes, and that kind of doesn't work for me, because I don't know about you, but I'm not a big, like, can do things on airplanes the way other people can. Sometimes I just got to put the music on and decompress.
And that's all right, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You need your downtime. I love books, and I'm always reading something, but it takes me a long time to read. I used to read through books like crazy, but nowadays, I've got I shouldn't say screaming. I have wonderful, joyous children with me a lot when I'm not in the office. They fight like crazy. So let me just pretend that it's joy to my ears. And, so if I have a book, it's like, let me read one page.
Yeah.
Oof, that was fun.
Yeah, no, I know.
It takes a long time to get through them now.
Correct. No, it is. And a lot of it's keeping up with news and keeping up with current events, right? A lot of it is working with partners and just honestly having conversations, because when I talk to you, or when I talk to John Ellis or any of these business partners, you get a world of education just by having a conversation with them, right? Just by bouncing, hey, this is what I'm doing. I had the one thing I learned is one of our partners was telling us about how they've started changing their business model around hiring people, right? And I was just like, it really fascinated me, because you're always searching for how do you get good people and how do you keep good people. And one of the things I learned, and this is going completely out from what we've been talking about before, but one of the things I've learned is you really have to look at people and the character of the person and their history of success, regardless of the industry that they're in, right? And we've come to the conclusion that it's real. I'm not saying easy, because that would be, I don't want to belittle ourselves, but
totally,
I can teach them finance, right? And we can teach them HVAC, and we can teach them some of these things. What I can't teach people is, how to talk to people. And when you see they've had success in other industries, then they're more likely to be successful in whatever industry you place them.
Yeah.
So recently, a couple people that I've hired have been completely outside the box. I've got Donna DeCoster, who's our Western Regional, who was a radio show host and wanted a change of business. And now she is literally teaching contractors about finance and setting them up on Optimus. And she's killing it. And the reason she's killing it is because at her age, she was able to learn a new skill, which was really invigorating for her. But she has had success and she had the right character. So you got to kind of get outside the box when you're looking at hiring people and bringing people on, and stop thinking, well, this guy or this woman has so much experience in HVAC. We should, and I'm not poo-pooing that experience,
totally,
but be open to people who have had success in other industries, because some of the most important transferable skills are those that you can teach the finance, or you can teach the HVAC aspects of it. You can't teach a good character, hardworking, honest, open personality. Those are qualities you can't teach. So get outside the box when hiring people.
Yeah, and I've heard it said another way too, Matthew, is that you can't teach people what they should have learned at the dinner table as a child.
Right. Yeah, right? That's that Atlanta Southern thing that you've got, that knowledge that I appreciate so much. But yes, that is a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
That's a great way of saying it.
Don't you dare leave your plate on that table. You take that to the sink. That's what we're learning in my household. I'm not picking up your plate.
Correct. And then the other thing is, when you have really good people, you got to pay them. You've got to set up processes where they can earn. And it's not always about money either. It's really about making sure they're appreciated, making sure you understand what's going on in their lives outside of just the time that they clock in.
And speaking of time and money, I'm finding more and more people wanting a 30-hour work week, or a 36-hour work week, or a 32-hour work week, right? So as long as their bills are covered and they've got their threshold of what they would like, right? It's not about the 40 hours. They need like specifically 35 hours. So I'm just used to a world of 8 to 4, 8 to 5, or 8 to 8 in our industry, right? Or 8 to 10. You're working all night. I know you guys are. But
it's interesting. It's interesting you bring that up. So we went from everybody used to have to be in our offices in Sacramento, and now they're all working from home, which has done a couple of things. It's greatly opened up our pool of talent, because now I can go anywhere in the country, right? Whereas before it was always, where are you in California? But now I can do everywhere in the country. But now that they're working at home, they're working at their time, they're working at their pace. They're able to do things like go to a doctor's appointment, or pick up their son and go to a Little League game, or whatever it needs to be. And they're more productive than they've ever been if you let them have it as part of their life, and you're paying attention and you make them feel like a team. The negative is, and I don't know if this is a negative, but what I am finding is they're also not taking PTO, right? They're just not taking that time off that they would normally take, but they're more productive. So I think that's kind of a win-win, because
I was doing a deep dive research into that the other day, that whole unlimited PTO thing that, companies are looking at. I was like, that's freaking crazy. But the more I look at it, statistics are showing that you give them unlimited PTO, the majority of them aren't using it, because it creates this culture of, no, I'm not using it. So anyway, that is definitely a rabbit trail we could talk about forever. But in the service industry, right, I'm seeing more people. So you might not be able to hire remote, but I'm seeing more people stack schedule. So kind of like an A or B shift, right? What works best for your family? Do you need an afternoon shift instead of a morning shift? And that is working well for people, and they're no longer burning out their techs.
Yes. And I think it's going to work better for companies, because when you're in tune with you're hiring people, you're not hiring machines. And when you're in tune with what they're doing in their lives, and you can make those adjustments so that they can, to your point, make an afternoon shift, make an evening shift, whatever it needs to be, 4-day work week instead of a 5-day work week, or 3, whatever it's going to be, you get happier people, and happier people are better employees. They're better team members. That's just everybody likes winning, right? Everybody's happy when you're winning, and you're going to win when you're paying attention to your people. And I just think that's one of the biggest takeaways we have to learn. The entire industry has to learn is, to your point, it's not a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 or whatever.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Right?
Yeah, it's really changed. Speaking of winning, my 7-year-old was here this morning. She doesn't ever get to come to the office, but she got to come today. I don't know why. Summer camp. I don't know. So, but on my wall, I've got a quote that says, "Today is a win-win day." She's like, "Win-win, wine, win-win. What's that mean? Win-win." I was like, "It means we're gonna win at everything today. We're gonna be successful at everything today." She's like, "What does that mean? We're gonna win." I don't know. Anyway, hey, Matthew, it sure has been a pleasure. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today and share, your wealth of information and wisdom on the finance industry and what Optimus is doing.
Oh.
Really excited to roll it out.
Thank you so much, Danielle. I love our partnership. I love where we're going together. I love working with you and your contractors and your team, Erica, Suzanne. You've got just an amazing team. I already mentioned John Ellis.
I do. They're wonderful.
Yeah, you do. You have a great team, and I really think there's a lot of synergy, and we're looking forward to kind of helping your contractors grow their business and keep with the times and actually be successful during these times. So yeah, thank you for having me. I love doing this. Anytime you want me back, I'd love to jump on. So thank you.
Well, then we will. Awesome. Well, hey, Matthew, let's get back to our day then. Thanks so much.
Have a great one. Go kill it is what I tell people. Maybe that's not the right term, but
I say it too. You guys gonna kill it today?
And be successful.
I'm like, y'all gonna kill it today? They're like, yeah.
All
right, I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to know more about the new flat rate, go to tnfr.us. If you would like to register for Optimus Financing, go to optimusfinancing.com/TNFR.